I was a freshman.
I think, honestly, all of high school.
In elementary school.
In middle school, would go to middle school dressed up a lot.
Fairly common, actually.
The shame I feel definitely comes from the inside. I'm not being shamed by someone on the outside.
I feel like every time I do visual arts or writing and I share that with someone.
I'll do a twofer. Every now and again I feel in conversations when I get excited and I'll talk about something that is an interest, and then the conversation will move on from it because people aren't necessarily interested. That cuts a little. Also, I remember specifically I was very excited to tell my mom about something I saw in elementary school where one of the cooler girls in my school, she had a choker that she used to wear. It was really cool. On one of my peers' birthdays, one of the kids in my class, Carlos, she took it off and put it on him for his birthday because everyone had complimented her on it for this whole week, and it was his birthday. So he wore it all day, got compliments from the whole class. We thought it was so cool. He was wearing Isabel's choker. And I went home and I told my mom about it, and I intended to be like, can I get one? This was so cool. And she, a very, ally person who's grown a lot since then, goes, ooh, is he a f-? And internally I went, oop, shut it down. No chokers. We don't wear that. And it would be until I was 22 and one of my friends was wearing a choker at Pride that I went back for it and went, oh, I can wear those now.
So that is not something that I really do, but about a month ago, my haircut used to be long wispies in the front and almost shaved in the back, and I was walking to school, and this group of guys behind me started kind of harassing me and being like, is that a they them, is that a he him, or what are you? And so I turned around and I was like, are you talking to me? Is it for my hair? Because I was wearing just a normal outfit. And then we screamed at each other to go f*** yourself. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of harassment comments, people not knowing what gender I am or whatever, but I liked my haircut. I'm probably gonna dye it red soon.
My friend was, dating someone. I asked them to dress me up before school because I wanted to be different. As a freshman, I was just really going through it. And so I went to their house and they completely gave me a makeover. I only went to school in big shirts and really big pants. Now I was in a corset. I was in fishnets. It was the best day of my life. But everyone in my freshman class ruined it. Actually, not everyone. And I'm walking in to Mr. Chaveste's integrated 1 math. And I walk in and I could just see I could hear what they were saying, and they were like, oh my god, she looks so ugly. Oh my god, she's so different today. I don't know if I like it. And I sat through that for a whole 90 minutes. Yeah. So I walked out and I was feeling angsty. I was angry. And then we were doing performances that day for Local 2. And we had like picked songs, and it was like a song that like meant a lot to you. And the song that I picked was Creep by Radiohead. And I would get up there and I stand on stage and people think that I'm gonna start singing, but no, I took the microphone off the stand and I say, I had a very unpleasant experience in math today, and I just want you guys to know that it's okay to be different, and I shouldn't be made to feel ashamed of what I wear, regardless if it's different. And I was like, I chose this song because sometimes you feel like a creep.
I have felt ashamed in expressing myself around the time that I was starting to realize I'm queer. I think my parents also knew, but none of us had the words for it. And I was asked, once I did come out, to not speak it at all. Like, don't tell people you're whatever. So I think from that point forward, I became very quiet as a kid. I started dancing in my bedroom because my parents, I'm sure it's out of love, but anytime they see me doing something, whether it's singing or playing a video game or even dancing, they will, in my mind, it's like they're mocking me by pretending to do it, but in an overly exaggerated way. So in my room, I don't see them, and I feel safer to express myself in
I have a lot of shame about my body, about not, I mean, it's ridiculous, I know, and I love it that, like, things are changing in this way, but I'm 63, and so, I was always felt like I was too fat, and I was always chubby as a kid, and so just expressing myself with my body has always been something that has caused me to feel ashamed of myself, and be that with dance and movement, which is something I've always loved, or be that with sex, right? Any place where, like, I'm engaging my body, that's been kind of a source of twinginess for me.
Like, dressed up a lot. Kind of like how people dress at PFAA, but this wasn't PFAA, this is like this was Rio. Actually, no, it's Arden. And so people, like, look down on, like, dressing like that. And I didn't realize that they did until, like, a year later. And then I was like, oh my god, everyone was making fun of me that whole time. And now I feel like a silly goose. So that was not slay.
Because I was just starting to be aware of myself and others, and starting to really, like, gain consciousness and a feel for the world, and, like, not just my family, my house. And I started to feel a little embarrassed when I do things that seemed fine to me, fine to my family, and fine to my friends outside of school, but weird to them. And so I'd be like, I'd wear mismatched socks on one day, or I'd wear a crazy orange tank top with, like, a yellow skirt, and I'd feel super happy about it. And then middle school, I felt super insecure, and I tried really hard to express myself, and I went super feminine one day, and then I felt really uncomfortable with that, and that's when I started to figure out sexuality and gender, and it just kind of all collapsed on itself like dominoes. I immediately started to feel, like, embarrassed about being who I was and trying to figure it out. Like, I was just supposed to have that figured out by the time I get to high school. Not supposed to figure out during middle school. It's just supposed to be an automatic thing. That's what I thought. And so I tried to do that, and it didn't work, and it kind of all fell apart. I'd go, like, to school crying just because of a pimple, and I'd never done that before because I never cared about how I looked. I never cared about how people looked at me. But because this was there, and because people would call it weird, or because people would look at it for longer periods of time than I'd like, it was now embarrassing to be that way.
Especially early 2020, and, like, early 2021. Both times I was in a very new place, new to charter in general. Just felt very isolating at that time. And even though PFA is such a great place to be, like, who you are, what you want to be, I didn't really realize that until fairly recently, surprisingly. Come down like an Armageddon, play for shame, the ones who died without a it's just a way to envision a better area, a better time. And even if that time isn't the happiest.
Because, you know, you dance like nobody's watching.
I feel I'm like never there, like ever, which is kind of bad. But I'm always like living somewhere else or like thinking about something else. I used to practice my moves for like school dances to practice for like concert. I can't say that. The vampire scenarios or punk shows. And I practice running around in a circle.
In my current bedroom, when I'm dancing, I'm thinking and imagining myself in front of an audience. But it's typically people that I feel too shy to perform for, like my partner, because I want to be perfect, or I want to give them something that's really polished, but I also know that I'm an emotional, I get flustered.
Actually, I dance in here, but it's like in like the middle of the night, so I have like this space, you know. You just groove.
I started dancing I've always loved to dance. I've always loved to move my body. There's a space I get into when I'm syncing up my body to the music, and I almost take on a different persona where I'm not me anymore, but I'm a moving object.
I dance to get myself out of bed when it's taking a bit too long, and I dance in a very odd way because sometimes I don't remember the last time I danced, and that means I should dance right now.
I dance in my bedroom quite a bit, and so I think I do that because I guess it's a period of time when no one is seeing me. Even if my window's open, I don't think that people are watching me as they go by. I'm by a pathway, but it's a period where I feel like I can be my most vulnerable by myself.
I like to get out of my head, and sometimes I practice dance moves for a show that I want to go to. If I'm playing the music loud enough, I kind of pretend that I'm in a music video, or I pretend that I'm the singer of the band, and I'm like dancing. I come up with
The music video in my head, and sometimes I'm not even dancing, I'm just pacing because I'm like plotting it out in my mind. I gotta make the whole animatic frame by frame.
I mean, I'm usually in my bedroom listening to music because I'm either happy or sad. It's not usually one way or another. And then I end up dancing because of that. Sometimes, I don't know. So I like to picture that like I'm dancing, not like with someone, like a slow dance, but I like to picture that like I'm not, alone in my dancing, even though it's kind of ironic because I only dance like that when I'm by myself.
I am in my bedroom in my mind. When I dance, I'm free. I'm in my body. I think about the parts of me that are moving. I think about the moves that I'm doing, because a lot of the dance moves that I have are a synthesis of people that I thought looked cool, or dance moves that I thought looked cool, that become a mosaic in my body.
Especially since all the things that happened with the domino effect, I just started to keep it in. That was my only way of keeping in anger. So I'd come home, and dancing it out would make me forget about it all.
It sounds like your brain goes to like this magical place.
My mom calls that Huddy Land. I've been living in it forever. Yeah, every day since I was like super tiny, I would always be in Huddy Land. I wouldn't notice what's around me.
When I'm dancing in my room, I'm able to like actually like put myself in there physically as well as like mentally. But I dance in my bedroom to like put myself in different places that I can't be in the moment.
I don't typically visualize myself in a certain place, but I think more of a void of space when I'm dancing in my bedroom. There's nothing around me. I'm not really part of a circumstance. Everything going around me, I'm not involved in it, and so I'm kind of in my own head. I think dancing in my own bedroom is a period of time when I don't have to be a part of everything else, and I don't have to conform to anybody's standards, but whatever I want.
I kind of go up in the sky, outside of Earth. Like I do go into the stars a bit. That's the astronomy nerd in me kicks in, and I imagine myself like watching a nebula or being it. Like once I actually imagine myself being inside the nebula, being a star waving around it, and seeing every cluster of star around, and it was really fun, actually. I was listening to a lot of space kind of themed songs, you know, with like, what is it, like the little electro piano stuff, you know, you turn on the electro.
With you, the world comes to an end. I will have loved you for a long time. For a long time.
Well, dancing in my bedroom, I don't know if it's saved me from anything, but dancing in general sure has. I remember being in the closet in high school. I remember not telling people things. I knew some of my friends' social security numbers, and they didn't know my middle name. And I would make it a point that I would, you know, be best friends with a lot of people, even if they had never been to my house, didn't know anything about me. I had a huge community because of it, but I wasn't in community. I wasn't sharing with them. I wasn't being seen or helped by them. I was covering in a way. But dancing is one of the first things where I had to be vulnerable, because it's just a nonverbal thing. It's not something I could have faked. So at school dances, I went to junior prom 4 times and senior ball 5 times. Or flip that. Junior prom 5 times, senior ball 4 times. I remember the first time kind of like being a wallflower, and then it would take me like 2 hours into the night to finally go on the dance floor and do high school dancing, which is just jumping. And then by the next year, that amount of time was cut in half. And by the time my senior ball came out, I was one of the first people on the dance floor, and I was doing moves that I'd gotten better at, and I was laughing and joyous with certain friends and dancing with all types of friends who were boys, friends who were girls, and it was so free.
I am so aware of like what my body is doing like all the time. When I was younger, like I stopped myself from wearing so many things. As I've gotten older, it definitely like has decreased a little bit. Like I've kind of like grown into myself more. But I think I dance just to like be more in tune with like my body, or to like, I don't know, because I feel like when we put on clothes throughout the day, it feels to me very like restricting. Like it's a form of expression, but I also feel like there's too many things on me. Like this coat, it's like I'm definitely taking this off later because it's just very like restricting. But like when it's at night and I am alone and I'm just wearing like pajamas, like just, you know, regardless if I think that it's ugly or not, it feels good. Like it's more about like, it just puts you more into like how you're feeling rather than how you are perceived, because you're not being perceived by anyone. And so it's definitely about like feeling allowed to just feel. I am getting a lot more comfortable with my body and how it looks. Like being alone and being able to move and jump and dance and just like move in whatever way I want to, and just like not be, you know, so worried about what my legs are doing or what my chest is doing. It's just so, it's awesome. My face is getting so hot. I hope you put that in slow-mo, that he just totally attacked me right now. Okay, I'm gonna let you go because you're being rude. Panda, you're so rude. Okay, I'm kicking him out. You're being a bitch.
I think dancing in my bedroom saved me from losing a connection with my body that I've loved. I quit dance around 8 years old. I used to do ballet. And when I noticed that my body was different, like my body is tightly wound. I'm not as flexible as the other dancers. I'm the darkest skinned kid in the classroom. And I was also just like, I weighed more than the other kids in the class. So I quit ballet and I still love dancing. So I had to sit with, how do I keep that alive for me? And so dancing in my bedroom meant I could still enjoy dance and not worry about how other people are going to view it.
I think it saved me from hard nights being even harder. Like sometimes I'll have a panic attack or just be crying, and then once I get over it, I'm like in a good mood. So I'll start dancing and playing music I like. And it kind of lets me transition from that into feeling better. And then also just before I'm going to something, if I'm feeling anxious, I'll just start dancing, and then it gets rid of the anxiety.
I'm gonna talk to my freshman self because I feel like she really needs to hear this. Not as many people hate you as you think they do. And just because someone said this one thing about you doesn't mean that that defines like the whole rest of your high school career. Because really, like, I just needed to talk to people.
I could say a lot, but the most concise thing that I'd say, and the thing that I think I would truly just say if given a sentence, is just keep your eyes up, feet on the ground, think about everything first, and remember, people will support you.
It depends on what version we're talking about, because there was like, when I first gained full consciousness, like 4-year-old me, I was I was carefree, energetic, I wasn't judgmental, I wasn't anything. And I would tell that kid, like, stay there, stay on that path, don't let anything crush you down. I wish I could tell them, like, have way more confidence than you're having right now, because you're doing great. I would probably almost slap them and be like, shut up, people like you. I feel like I took so much time thinking like, no, I have to figure this out by myself. People won't want to talk to me. My friends won't want to talk to me. And I feel like if I could tell them, like, hey, you don't have to figure anything out on your own. You've got so many people around you.
I would encourage my younger self to share my feelings much more openly and be willing to have messy emotions and share them with people.
Keep doing what you're doing, Queen. The 504 is supposed to let you turn in late work. They're gonna tell you it can't. It can though.
Don't do drugs.
Some of my best times were, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I was really shy when I was younger, and I would probably say don't be that shy. Like, I was always kind of scared to like make new friends or like do new things and try new things. I feel like if I was less shy and less afraid of like rejection and people thinking that like I'm bad or I'm embarrassing, then I would probably have done more things and found more things that I'd like to do.
Well, I'm someone that has struggled with very bad anxiety most of my life, so it got in the way of me enjoying my time. And so now I would say, like, even if things go wrong, even if things don't go according to plan, I can still choose to have a good time. Like, I can say what I want and act the way that is comfortable, and people will still like me. You just have to choose to be around people that are authentic and kind.
But the advice is all some muddled version of 3 different sentiments, which are come out, never lie, always be honest, even if it's inconvenient, even if it feels impossible, that no one cares. That no one will care that you can wear that choker. And your mom will just be like, oh, okay. That any of these things are so superficial to your day-to-day that people just want to relate to you or talk to you or not be wrong. So if you give them permission to come back after that temporary awkwardness, it'll be okay so quickly. No one cares. Just be yourself.
Elsie, stop it. From the perspective of like things I'm still working on in my life now that I wish I would have like worked on more when I was younger, it would probably be learn how to be more vulnerable with people, take risks on telling people what you really think, allowing people to see your dark side, you know, and then don't do drugs.
I need to sit with that one for a moment.
Oh no.
That's a good question.
Why would you make queer people make choices?
There are albums that I could say, there are playlists that I've made, but I'd say the number 1 song is probably, what would I say? I'd probably say,
A secret. When I first got my flip phone, it was really hard to upload music. And so the first song that I uploaded successfully was a Father John Misty song, which is so embarrassing. But it's When You're Smiling and Astride Me. And I remember just hearing it through the little speaker and like putting it up to my ear and dancing and singing. It was really nice. I felt accomplished.
The first that comes to mind of 3, the song Nagin by Asta Gil. I have performed to that in front of other people. I think that is a song that I reconnected with just embodying sensuality, because prior to that, I'd been embarrassed to. I thought that the only way that I can show myself in dance spaces is as a very like neutral, very scrubbed, clean kind of person. I guess my second song would be Daft Punk's Around the World. I've caught myself, whether I'm learning other dances or I'm attempting to learn how to ice skate, that keeps an internal rhythm for me that I've never thought about until this interview. There is a song from a Bollywood film, and it's called Bole Tudiyan, and it's from a film that has lots of themes around family and like disconnecting and reconnecting with them. Throughout the moments of disconnect with my parents, I have imagined what it would be like to be in that scene and dance to it with them and for them.
Yeah, just anything like that. Yeah. The song is definitely, I think, it's Space Song by Beach House.
This song it's the best song that I've ever found. It's just like, it's a very purple song. Like a dark blue kind of purple, like with like orbs. Different This Time by Cornelia Murr. It just makes me feel so like guilty, but in the best way.
Probably like Fool by Frankie Cosmos has, I guess you would say, a secret around me in it. I don't know. I have like playlists that probably know more about me than like more individual songs, if that makes sense.
The cruelty of it.
I know I've allowed some people to pick 3, so if you want the top 3.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The first one is Stop This Train by John Mayer. The second is Dancing in the Street. I don't know who it's by. And the third is, I forget who originally sang it. This band in the 70s. Oh, God, I like them too. But the particular version I like is by Petra Hayden, and it is Let Your Love Flow.
Butch by Saint Motel. I've actually done a few different art pieces on that song, and I feel like it, both in dancing in my own bedroom and a sense of like experimentation of identity, I think that song speaks to me.
Gimme Gimme from Thoroughly Modern Millie. Wink wink.
Alright, that.
One of them is current, and it's kind of the secret is that I have my own little story about the song in my head, about what the song means, right? And it's a song called Atención by Mark Anthony and Tony Sukar. So there was a song that had to do with my teenage life. That was by a group called the Stylistics, called Betcha by Golly Wow. Betcha by Golly Wow. And probably any number of Led Zeppelin songs. There was a whole period of my life that was all I listened to. And I actually saw them live in 1976.
Wake Me Up When September Ends. Like I said before. Like, the message of the song itself is about loss and the singer's coping with it. I don't have the same loss as the artist, but it is this idea of like, even if it is not actually the most healthy way of getting through grief, of getting through strife, just that idea.
I was dancing when I was 12. I was dancing when I was out. I was dancing when I was out. I danced myself right out the womb. I danced myself right out the womb. Is it strange to dance so soon? I danced myself right out the womb. I was dancing when I was 8. I was dancing when I was 8. Is it strange to dance so late? Is it strange to dance so late? I dance myself into the tune. I dance myself into the tune. Is it strange to dance so soon? I dance myself into the tune. Is it wrong to understand the fear that dwells inside a man? What's it like to be alone? I liken it to a balloon. myself out.